Today is a kind of a cool, somewhat overcast June 18th, 2022. I'm at Babylon Station. Gonna take a round trip ride to Speonk. We're gonna ride out on 8736 and come back on 8743. King of Queens is the engineer on this train, in fact both trains. It's got 6 cars with I think a DM30 AC on each end. It doesn't mention what the lead engine is on the Eastbound. All right, here he comes. Let's see what that lead mystery engine is. Oh my goodness, it's 504. K5 LLA time. Let's see how the King of Queens does with that horn chord. Okay, on board train 8736, leaving Babylon, headed for Speonk. DM30 AC 504 on the west end and 512, excuse me, on the east end is 504 and 512 on the west end. Babylon Tower flying the flag. Yard is loaded with equipment on the weekend, all kinds of stuff, including some Higby Lane, West Iceland. The east end of Babylon interlocking. And the third rail. Kind of an unseasonably cool day. I'm wearing a sweater. I'll take this over the heat and humidity any day. Robert Moses Causeway we just passed under. And that's Orinoco Drive paralleling us. On the other side, Union Boulevard parallels us. Up here is a position light signal. Get them while they're still around. Kaiser Avenue, Brightwaters. That's the way to blow the horn, buddy. I always knew this guy was a skillful and adept engineer, and he's proving it to me in spades right now. Clinton Avenue and 5th Avenue there, Bayshore Station. I was planning on taking a round trip ride on these trains to Speonk today anyway, but on the app it didn't show what the lead engine was, so I was pretty much taking pot luck. You can imagine my glee when I saw the 504 on the point. Good old Irish luck.
This station is Bayshore. This is the train to Speonk. The next station is
K5 LLA engines on the railroad. The DE30ACs is 409, 423, 413, had to think on that one. DM30ACs 504, 509, and 521. Fourth Avenue. Third Avenue. Second Avenue. Right there was the abandoned First Avenue crossing. Coming up is Inadequate. Brentwood Road. Past another signal. Saxon Avenue. Nassau Avenue, coming into Islip. You can see the remnant of the old freight spur. Used to store lumber cars that were unloaded at 84 Lumber. 84 Lumber is long gone. Islip Avenue, Route 111. I think he's going to have a little difficulty outdueling these screaming kids on the train with that horn. But if anyone can do it, that one can.
The next station is Great River.
A street after my own heart, Irish Lane. When are they getting off? Down a long straightaway to Great River. 65-mile-an-hour speeds often reached between stations. It's a very challenging branch to run because of the high speeds. The other diesel branches, speeds aren't nearly as high. Just past a hand-thrown switch. Going under the Heckscher Parkway. Years ago, hardly any train stopped at this station. Now almost everyone does. If those screaming kids are going all the way to Speonk, I think I might scream even louder.
The next station is
In reality, that really shouldn't bother me because I've been in houses in the Philippines with 20 screaming kids. And I just sat there, cool, calm, and collected, drinking a glass of wine, having a little mango or... Connecticut Avenue. Filipino delicacies that I've had is something called lechon. It's roasted pig. Extremely popular delicacy in the Philippines. Anytime you go to a party thrown by Filipinos, that's guaranteed to be on the menu. Guaranteed to be on the spread. It's not bad. Sort of tastes like roasted chicken. There's a dead deer there. Going through the Connecticut Preserve. There have been a number of fatalities in this area. There's a couple of fishing streams in this area. Have to watch out for them. I remember when I was about 12 years old, I went to the Bayard Cutting Arboretum. I took a train, one of the rare trains that stopped at Great River from Babylon, but there was no train that stopped going back. So I walked along the tracks going to Oakdale from the Arboretum, just walking around daydreaming. I looked up and the ebb tide was coming at me with a nice big orange Alco Century C420. I jumped like a grasshopper out of the way. Okay, we're coming into Oakdale. Well, this engineer's putting on a great show with the horn. It's a blueprint. This is Oakdale Amity Education Group. Formerly was the home of Dowling College. The building is still there, but it's abandoned. It's owned by a Chinese company and they're just letting it rot virtually. You got a Westbound. There are often meets in the Great River Oakdale area.
This is the train to Speonk. The next station is Stayville.
Oh, the trailing engine on this train has there's another K5 LLA engine, 509. It's been running around on a scoot all day today. So the K5 LLAs are rubbing shoulders here at Oakdale. There you can see the number. Oakdale Bohemia Road, the revised one, where that foundation is right there. That was the original crossing, and that was a foundation of a center road crossing that was gateless, that lots of cars smashed into.
This is the train to Speonk. The next station is Stayville.
I really enjoy taking these Speonk trips because Babylon is not that far from my house, and it's a decent length trip. that in the PA system. The distant to Y, they call out the signal. I think it has to do with manual signals. They have to do that. Locust Avenue, past another signal. Look to watch trains there. Trains are really moving past that crossing. Went over another manual switch, hand thrown switch.
This station is Sayville. Actually, the first thing I thought.
Greeley Avenue. Arriving in Sayville. Sayville is a jumping off point for Fire Island ferries. As is Bayshore and Patchogue coming up.
Wait, so it was like one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know.
Railroad Avenue. Next is Lincoln Avenue. You heard it, clear block at Y. There's Montauk Highway going underneath us. Soon we'll pass Y interlocking and be down a single track.
Oh my god, let me show you all my desk.
Okay, we're down a single track. We're approaching Bayport. Ton of grade crossings. He's going to blow that horn like a bat out of hell. Snedeker. Good old Bayport Avenue. Coming up is Gillette Avenue. CBS is down the street where a rail fan used to work, but he's no longer there, but he's working right now somewhere else. I hope he's enjoying his job there. They just called out clear signal distant to PD. These are all manual black signals. Passing by the old Blue Point station here. He's moving. You can hear that traction motor singing. Atlantic Avenue. I remember back in the 70s when Long Island was leasing power, they leased a bunch of engines from Precision National Corporation. And I was riding one scoot in the front vestibule behind the engine. He had a precision painted GP9 on the point. He was really ripping with that thing. The traction motor was so loud, almost punctured my eardrums. Awesome EMD experience. Back then, the Long Island had a lot of Bangor and Aroostook GP7s. Freight mainly. River Avenue, Patchogue. West Avenue. There's PD1. Controlled siding. Controlled by the Babylon desk. Before they raised the platform here is very long. It extended completely from West Avenue to Ocean Avenue. Now the platform is maybe about 50 to 60% of that length. This is DE30AC 415 sitting here. Get a close-up of it. Brakes on indicators. There on the left, brake cylinder cutout cock B end, right next to it. Okay, leaving Patchogue, got a bunch of grade crossings here too. Starting with Ocean, then Ryder, and can't remember the others. Ocean Avenue, where the former PD Tower once stood. This is PD2. Here's the fence track on the far end there. It's where they used to run around these scoot trains of old.
The next station is
Engines would run around on the scoots when before push pulls. PD3. This is South Country Road. That road sort of takes a semicircular route through downtown Bellport to the south and comes back up here again, just west of Old Stump Road. Quite a few crossings in this area too. That's 27A Montauk Highway over there. I've longed for horn blowing like this with those engines. Spaghetti was pretty good with 509 on one of my trips. That siding over there that's no longer active is part of the old BO black limit station. I think this car is about to get a lot quieter. This part of town is not terribly inspiring, but if you go south into Bellport Village, that's very nice. Lots of nice little shops and restaurants.
The next station is Massachusetts.
From here on out, the distance between stations grows considerably. Long stretches of non-stop running. This is Station Road, Bellport. Arthur Avenue. Old Stump Road, the old Brookhaven station used to be there until '58. That's Old Bardo Road, which is largely abandoned, but he acknowledged it with the horn like it was a 4-lane highway. Now we're in the Wertheim Wildlife Refuge here. Started out as a pretty sunny day has turned into complete overcast. Brisk northwest wind has been blowing today, bringing down that Canadian air. Fireman's River. I think that's Smith Avenue. Somebody must be on the tracks. William Floyd Parkway, arriving Mastic Shirley Station. Okay, leaving Mastic Shirley, gonna make our last dash to Speonk. Lots of crossings in the Cinema Ridges area. Okay, that's JJD1. Initials were James J. Dermody, a former Long Island Railroad president. Used to be called MS for Mastic Shirley.
This is the train to Speonk. The next station is Speonk.
JJD2. It's amazing how this area has sprouted in population. When I was a kid, it was very rustic out here. Mastic Avenue. Forget the name of this river. We got a bunch of crossings coming up. J. Hawkins Road. the old Cinema Ridge station site. That old siding is part of MO, which is out of service. There should be about 17 gondola cars here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Maybe I missed one. Just came out the other end of MO. Next crossing is Pine in East Mauritius, just west of the old East Mauritius station site, which closed in '58. That's Pine, East Mauritius. I'm going to slow down for a curve up ahead. Montauk Highway there. Going to be slowing for a sharp right-hand curve, which straightens out where PT Black Limit Station used to be on the west end. It's also where the Eastport Manorville branch came in, right where the curve straightens out. You went west of Eastport back before the Manorville branch was closed, you just go straight ahead. That was abandoned in 1949. They were running that curve right here. Right here is where the Manorville branch came in on the left. Eastport. Thumping over the east switch of PT. Got one more crossing before Speonk. Eastport was a station also until '58. We're on a straightaway home stretch into Speonk now. King of Queens was king with that K5 LLA horn. That's the way to blow it. Let them know you're coming. I've heard this engineer trackside, and you could definitely hear him coming from miles away. Makes this retired railfan horn guy very happy. Okay, I got 4:19. We're a few minutes early. Gonna cool my heels here until 5:53, and then we'll go back to Babylon on 8743 with the same equipment. But 5:12 will be leading. Take a little walk, go down to the deli. Soon after this equipment goes into the yard, 8709 from Montauk to Jamaica will be stopping here. Hey, 4:20, a couple of minutes early. Time to go to the yard. That sounds like spaghetti to me. It's 8709 from Montauk to Jamaica. Watch them arrive and depart here at Speonk. Got 500 on the point, the class unit of the DM30AC. Spaghetti and Meatballs is off to Jamaica. Right now we're inside the Speonk, the old Speonk Depot, which was built in 1901. Turned it into a cute little restaurant. I remember when it was Cub's Snack Bar. Ate in here when I was in junior high school. It's got a little railroad motif here. That book, I've got that book. I haven't finished reading it yet. It's a picture of the outside of the depot. Hello to that. Looks like one of those roll-up signs that were on some cars or something. And one of their specialties is the Remsen Burger. This town used to be called Remsenburg years ago. Here's the outside of the place. Cute little seating area. It's called the Little Gull. Hot coffee, cold beer, and tasty food. Be our dinner date tonight, open from 5 to 9. And it seems to be kind of popular with the locals. You can sit outside and dine watching the trains, but that's a little difficult with the fence and the tree growth in front. When I was a kid, you could stand here and get an unobstructed view into the yard. And many times when we came back from John Duck's in Southampton, we always stopped here because they wanted me to look at the trains here. And there'd be Fairbanks Morse engines parked here and long consists, and it was a thrill of going out to John Duck's. Whenever they said, "Hey Tim, we're going out to John Duck's," I'd be foaming at the mouth. It's a cute little building. Previous building was destroyed. That was on the spot, struck by lightning, caught fire and burned down. These nasty fences that rail fans hate and the railroad loves. Got 512 coming in, 8743 coming out of the yard. Board 8743 is due out of here at 5:53, heading back to Babylon. Leader is DM30AC 512. Seems to have a pretty loud horn. K5L horn, or K5LL.
This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Mastic Shirley.
Can't really hear the horn too well back here. Just past Eastport. I was in the third car, but I moved up to the first car. That's better. 6,000 horsepower, 6 cars. 1,000 horsepower per car. That's a nice horsepower per ton ratio. There's Montauk Highway there. Goes down, swings down through Center Roches downtown and back up again. Pine Street, past the East Moriches Depot there. Shortly you'll see the old abandoned Center Moriches station site out here. And a bunch of railroad crossings he blows for through the area. Through the east switch of MO. Here's the abandoned station site, closed in 1998. That was Railroad Avenue. Here on the left you might see this restaurant that looks like an old Air Force hangar. Try to point it out. And there's Montauk Highway coming back underneath again. Okay, it's right before this crossing. Right there. Moriches Field Brewing Company. Nicely decorated. Ray Hawkins Road. Is getting ready to, in a couple of weeks, to fly to the Philippines. She's going to be gone for 5 weeks. So I best entertain myself with the rails during that time. Well, right in the midst of her vacation, I'll be going to Chicago. Hope to get a lot of good stuff there. Also want to get the 2102 on July the 2nd. Running a round trip from Reading to Jim Thorpe. Just taking it easy through here. The schedule between Speonk and Mastic Shirley has got extra time built into it. That may be why he's going slow here. The schedule seems to take into account that the Santa Mauritius station stop still exists. The running time is placed as if the station stop is included in that, and so a lot of times they can make up time between Speonk and Mastic Shirley, since that station has been eliminated. A lot of railroads, including Amtrak, commuter railroads, they all have a lot of padding in the schedule. Mastic Avenue. One time I rode an Express MU out of Babylon, made Babylon, Jamaica, New York, and I got to Jamaica and they sat there for like 8 minutes waiting for time, and another train pulled in coming from some other place that went to Penn Station. I got on it and I actually got into Penn Station before the express train out of Babylon did. Something's not right. Growing up as a kid, trains always ran on time. They didn't have any schedule padding. They didn't have any of that stuff. I'll tell you, one railroad that I always marveled at in their commuter service was the Erie-Lackawanna. You could set your watch to those trains everywhere I went. When the train was due at like 4:11, you looked at your watch at 4:11 and there was the train coming in. Even in a blizzard, those trains ran on time. And they used such old equipment. Stillwell coaches, Wyatt Earp open vestibule cars, E8s, RS3s, GP7s, ancient stuff, and they ran on time with it. To say nothing about those Thomas Edison MUs that were built in the 1930s. Okay, we're thumping over the east switch of JJD. Mastic Shirley Station. Mastic Shirley has grown up quite a bit since I was a kid. Very rural out here back then. Today, it keeps the 5th Precinct busy. A lot of things go on in this town. William Floyd Parkway. You follow that down, it takes you down to Smith Point Beach on the ocean.
This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Hatchall.
No Bellport. Looks like it's gonna rain. Smith. Well, here's the Wertheim Wildlife Refuge. Some nice hiking trails here. The Carmen's River. This goes on quite a ways. Good place to catch ticks in the summertime. Bardo Road. This engineer gives it a lot of attention like all the other crossings. There's a little trail over there in the brush that will take you from Stump Road to that crossing. There's Stump Road, passing the old Brookhaven station site. Yeah, there's a path that goes down parallel to the tracks to Bardo Road, but might be a good idea to wear some pants when you walk through there. I'm sure it's full of brush, and who knows what kind of insect bites you could get walking in there. One time I walked around in the brush at Wildwood State Park a few years ago. And I swore I didn't really step on around any brush or grass or anything, but I started itching, and before you know it, my right leg was all full of red blotches, rashes. Arthur Avenue. Yeah, my left leg was all full of rashes. I don't know what happened, poison ivy or something, but it was September. I didn't wear shorts. I didn't want people to think that I had the cooties. It took a couple of months for those to disappear. So ever since then, I'm very careful about where I walk when I go out into the brush. BO switch, that Station Road, Bellport went by in a blur, not much to Bellport. Giving it a good pull. Riding behind one of the best on the railroad here today. Said he was giving it a good pull. Actually, it's a good pull and push. You got an engine in the back working too. South Country Road. Approaching the Patchogue yard limit. Ocean Avenue coming up. Right there where that porta potty is where PD Tower once stood. It was torn down in the early 2000s. Patchogue. Here you can jump off of ferries to Watch Hill and what's the other one? Davis Park. Yeah, this platform is not nearly as long as the low platform that existed before they raised the platform here. It stretched all the way from Ocean Avenue to West Avenue. Okay, departing Patchogue, next stop Sayville. See, that's all the platform is. Years ago, up to this spot, the low platform existed. It's West Avenue. There's the abandoned Patchogue Bowl over there. Milepost 53, measured from Long Island City.
This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Sayville.
River Avenue. This is manual black signal territory. It's only 20 after 6, but it's so overcast. So dark that you can see the interior of the car lights. Atlantic Avenue. You can hear them calling out that clear distance signal to Y. That's what they do with manual black signals. This is the old Blue Point station site here where you see this maintenance away debris here. Headquarters. It's Blue Point Avenue. Coming up to Crossing Bell Alley in Bayport. Gillette Avenue. Bayport Avenue. Snedeker Avenue. Oakwood Avenue. McConnell. Boy, I want to be trackside when this guy's running down the rails. Clear home signal at Y. That'll be the last signal that they call. After that, we get into automatic black signal territory. We pick pick up our second track shortly. Just past Y interlocking. Talk Highway goes underneath. Lincoln Avenue.
This station is Sayville.
Railroad Avenue. Sayville. Jumping off point for ferries to Sailor's Haven, Cherry Grove. Bayshore is the other ferry jump off point. That goes to a bevy of locations on Fire Island. Kismet, Saltaire, Point of Woods, to name a few. But that's not the entire list. Can't remember the others. Like nimbostratus clouds.
Jamaica. The next station is
Ominous looking. But there's no rain in the forecast. Tomorrow is supposed to be a beautiful sunny day. Perfect weather. 70s during the day, 50s at night. I'd like to bottle that for every day of the summer. Greeley Avenue. Here's another maintenance away facility. Lots of concrete ties in there. Sometimes they'll want to run a work train into there.
This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Oakdale.
Cherry Avenue. Just went over a set of hand-thrown switches. Locust Avenue. Great spot to watch the trains at speed. And a long straightaway to the west. You got position light signals west of the crossing in both directions. Long straightaway to the east. And they're running at maximum speed here, which is 65. Coming into Oakdale.
This station is Oakdale.
Oakdale Bohemia Road. It's a classic Oakdale station. I like this town. Spent a lot of time in it. Went to college here. Went to Dowling. Got an aeronautics degree. Wasn't easy. Used to eat at Mama's restaurant right up the road a little ways. Owners closed it and moved to Florida. Building is still standing, derelict. I hope they open up something else here. Strongly recommend eating at the Snapper Inn if you like seafood. That's further down along the Connecticut River. There's the old freight house and those damn fences.
Jamaica. The next station is Great River.
You'll see a set of position light signals up here. Yeah. Going under Montauk Highway. I remember riding on the Patchogue Scoot when I was a kid, 1960s. Usually a nice Alco RS3, pulling about 4 P54 cars, the ping pong cars they call them, because they rocked and rolled and bounced all over the place. They weren't smooth riding cars, but they were fun to ride. I loved them. That RS3 would belch out the black smoke, burbling. Remember they had loud M3 horns, those things. They only had 1600 horsepower, but those things could really take off. They could really scoot, those things. Stood in the front vestibule behind one of them on the scoot. There's 8774 Babylon-Patchogue. Stood in the vestibule behind one of those things. Man, the sound, the dynamics, the horn, the bell, the bouncing. Oh. One of those I wish I had a tape recorder moments. Love RS3s, still love them. Thankfully there are still some running around on railroads like the Delaware-Lackawanna, which I hope to see later next week. Connecticut Avenue, arriving Great River. There's the old waiting shed there. A classic structure from the original Great River station that I remember as a kid.
This station is Great River. This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is
RS3. There's an RS3 at the Riverhead Railroad Museum, Long Island Railroad Museum in Riverhead, that they're restoring. The 1556. I remember that engine vividly as a kid, riding behind that thing. Remember when they idled in the station, they used to rattle and shake, and those shutters, the radiator shutters, would open and close automatically with hissing noises. They've done a lot of work on it. They need to paint it. They rewired it. I would love to see that running again. Alright, passed on the Heckscher Parkway. That goes down to Heckscher State Park. It's a place I like to walk in. Well, the RS3s are among my favorite locomotives. The little engine that could. They're kind of diminutive looking, have a weird shape, but the sound they make when they open that throttle is priceless. They have a lot more power and energy than you think they do. This guy gets up to MAS very quickly. He's got enough power. Another signal. This is Carlton Avenue we went over in East Islip, coming up to Irish Lane. Favorite haunts. Usually park my car at the crossing there, and it's in the middle of a S-curve, a backward S-curve.
This station is Iceland.
Islip Avenue. Station Islip. Islip, you slip, we all slip for Islip. It's a very English name, named after Lord Islip. A lot of Islips around. West Islip, Islip, Islip Terrace, Central Islip, and East Islip. This station is in the town of Islip, one of Long Island's many townships. Babylon is in the town of Babylon. Patchogue is in the town of Brookhaven. And Speonk is in the town of Southampton. There are other towns like the town of Huntington, town of Smithtown, town of Southold, town of East Hampton, town of Shelter Island. Nassau County have the town of North Hempstead, the town of Hempstead, town of Oyster Bay. Nassau Avenue. Avenue.
Section crew cleared into the Babylon, #1 track.
That's unusual. Well, no, actually it's not. They usually use one track for westbound diesels. Saxon Avenue. Signals coming up before Brentwood Road. Connecticut. Curve coming into Bayshore, another crossing Bell Alley. Second Avenue.
Station is Bayshore.
Third Avenue. Fourth Avenue, Bayshore Station. Right here is where the old Park Avenue crossing used to be, but that was eliminated when the platforms were raised in the late 90s. Bayshore's got a very long platform. Unlike Patchogue, they're pretty much covering the same amount of real estate that the low platform covered. You know, the high platform covered the same length. Platform stretches from 3rd Avenue all the way down to 5th Avenue, or should I say 4th Avenue to 5th Avenue.
Bayshore. This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Babylon.
On schedule. Not surprising considering how well this engine is running the train. Yeah, they're running in on track 1 in Babylon, so sometimes they run westbounds on 2. Cards are played right, if you got the proper signal indication, a lot of times you can speed right into Babylon. But since you have to go on 1, you have to divert, so you got to slow down a bit. Okay, Babylon is next. End of the run for me. Go home and have some dinner. See how long this platform is. Just that little stretch. That's the remnant of the old low platform. That's 5th Avenue. signal. This is Clinton Avenue.
This is the train to Jamaica. The next station is Babylon. Attention the crew, clear Babylon Langston.
Yeah. They called out that signal. Windsor Avenue, Brightwaters. Often ride my bike out here. I'm a little behind schedule in my bike riding this year because of my recent surgery. Look at this guy in a pickup truck. Beat him? I don't think he wants that to happen. Hope there's a cop sitting somewhere. Nail his butt. Well, he's not the only one. There's an awful lot of drag racing around here. Another place for drag racing, trying to race the trains, is on the main line between Pine Lawn Road and Little East Neck Road. The road parallels the tracks. It's a long straight stretch. I ought to know, I've done it myself. My parents had a 1968 Chrysler 300, which had a pretty powerful engine, V8 engine in it. I often did triple digits down that stretch. Not recently, when I was about 18 or 19. Okay, we're approaching third rail territory now. Here it is. Approaching the east limits of Babylon Interlocking. Bigby Lane, West Islip. Coming into Babylon here. A lot of guys just tend to creep in. That's Cooper Street down there. There's Deer Park Avenue. No, we're coming on track 2, not track 1. Impressive. You didn't waste any time getting in here. Well, this is where I get off. Great ride both ways. Great horn action. Great engineer. Montauk branch. Next stop, Jamaica. Great ride from the King of Queens.